I want you to picture two families living in the same suburb outside Dallas, Texas. The first family, Kevin and Maria, earns $155,000 a year. They buy a beautiful 4-bedroom house for $320,000. The second family, James and Patricia, earns $162,000. Almost identical income, but they buy a modest 3-bedroom house for $215,000. Same town, same decade, completely different financial futures. One family built wealth. The other family built a house they can barely afford to leave. And today, I'm going to prove to you why buying a bigger house is literally the #1 wealth killer in America, and how it could cost you over $1 million without you ever realizing it.
Let's fast forward 10 years to 2026. Kevin and Maria have just $140,000 in retirement savings. Their house is worth $480,000, but they still owe $210,000 on the mortgage. They've spent $60,000 on repairs and upgrades. Property taxes up 40%. Insurance nearly doubled. They've never taken a vacation longer than 5 days. James and Patricia? They have $620,000 in retirement savings. Their house is worth $340,000. They paid off the mortgage 3 years ago. Their monthly housing cost is now just $800 for taxes and insurance. Last summer, 2 weeks in Portugal. They're planning to retire at 58. Same suburb, same starting point, nearly identical incomes. The difference? $700 a month in mortgage payments, plus a cascade of hidden costs that destroyed one family's wealth and built the others. Most people think, if the bank approves me, I can afford it. That's dangerously wrong. The mortgage is only 50 to 60% of the true cost of owning a home. Here's what the bank doesn't show you. On a $500,000 home versus a $300,000 home, property taxes, $2,200 more per year. Insurance, $800 more per year. Maintenance, 1 to 2% of value, $3,000 more per year. Utilities, $2,400 more per year. That's $8,400 a year, $700 a month, before you even count the higher mortgage payment. Now add the mortgage difference. Now add the bigger down payment. Now add the furnishings, the landscaping, the bigger cars to fit the driveway. That's $700 a month, invested at 8%, $1.3 million. The bigger house doesn't cost $200,000 more. It costs you over $1 million in stolen future wealth.
Let me give you the 6 specific ways a bigger house kills wealth, because this is where most people get trapped. 1. The down payment trap. $40,000 extra down payment on a $500K house versus a $300K house. Invested for 30 years at 8%, $402,000 you never see again. 2. Monthly cash flow squeeze. That extra $1,400 a month doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from retirement, emergency funds, and investments. You don't feel the absence, but the absence is real. 3. Lifestyle inflation anchoring. Bigger house equals bigger furniture, landscaping, entertaining, cars. Kevin and Maria spent $25,000 in the first 3 years just to make the house feel like home. James and Patricia? $4,000. 4. The maintenance time bomb. More square footage means more roof, more HVAC, more water heaters. Over 30 years, $75,000 plus more in maintenance. 5. Property tax acceleration. At 4% annual growth, a $500K home's property tax doubles in 20 years. The smaller home's tax grows slower. Cumulative difference? Over $70,000. 6. Opportunity cost compounding. This is the killer. Every dollar spent on a bigger house is not a dollar compounding in the market. Over 10 years, that cost Kevin and Maria $350,000 in lost wealth. Over 30 years, over $1.5 million. The house didn't appreciate enough to close that gap. It never could.
Here's the part nobody talks about. A bigger house feels like progress. It feels like you've made it. And that feeling is exactly what destroys your wealth. Because once you own that house, you start making decisions to match the house. Nicer cars, better vacations to keep up, hosting holidays because you have the guest room. You don't notice it happening, but your bank account does. Meanwhile, the couple in the modest home is quietly investing the difference. Nobody sees their 401k. Nobody compliments their index funds. But when they're 58 and retired, they win. The house is not the goal. Financial freedom is the goal. And a bigger house moves you away from that goal, not toward it. So what do you actually do? If you're renting, buy at 60 to 70% of what the bank says you can afford. If the bank approves you for $500K, look at $300K to $350K. If you own and want to upgrade, run the full cost calculation: mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance. Then multiply by 20 years at 8% returns. That number is the true cost. If you already bought too much house, refinance if you can. Resist the pressure to fill every room. Keep a strict budget and consider if downsizing now gives you back your freedom. If you're in your 20s or 30s, internalize this math before you sign. The house you choose in your late 30s will determine your retirement more than almost anything else. Kevin and Maria's house is beautiful. 4 bedrooms, big yard, everyone comments on it. James and Patricia's financial security is invisible. Nobody sees their investment account. Nobody claps for their compound interest. But one family optimized for appearance. The other optimized for outcomes. The bigger house will always feel like success. But when you're 62 years old, deciding whether to keep working or start living, the investment account is the only thing that matters. The math never lies, and the math strongly favors the smaller house. This is Build a Millionaire. If this video hit home, watch the video linked on screen next. It breaks down exactly how money actually works. Not tactics that expire, principles that compound. Make the choice that your future self will thank you for.